And at number 4, Peppa Pig. Easily the strangest beef Adele has been in was with Peppa Pig. In an Instagram Live where Adele was promoting her upcoming album 30, a fan asked if she would ever collaborate with Peppa, and Adele savagely said no. Then later on during an interview with Capital FM, Adele was confronted by Peppa, who called her out for the comments. The interviewers asked Adele about her comments, then showed a clip of a cartoon Peppa saying, quote, "Hello Adele, that made me really sad when you said you wouldn't collaborate with me. Why not? Don't you like me?" Adele was obviously shocked and responded, quote, "But Peppa, I regret it. I spent 3 years watching you. I really regret any time you want to go jumping in muddy puddles and sing Muddy Muddles. I'm with you, babes. I felt terrible the second I said it." So thankfully that beef was cleared up.
And at number 3, Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star has been coming for Kylie publicly ever since she came out with an online makeup company that was a competitor to Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Their feud is totally one-sided, but I'm sure that Kylie has seen all the shade that Jeffree has dished out. Back when Jeffree was famous for his makeup reviews, he reviewed Kylie Cosmetics on multiple occasions, and more often than not, he trashed her products. When reviewing her over $300 brush set, he called it cheap dollar store product. Jeffree and Shane Dawson also trashed Kylie's skin in their review, where they called the products drying, irritating, and overpriced. Jeffree even shaded Kylie's Forbes cover, where she was declared the world's youngest self-made billionaire. He said, quote, "I declined the feature so they had to pick someone."
And at number 2, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is known for his controversial opinions on news and pop culture, and his stances on Adele have gotten him in hot water. In November, Piers published a scathing rant against Adele and her decision to include her son on her latest album 30, claiming that she shared her son's heartache and pain to promote the last album. Morgan claimed it was hypocritical because Adele had fought for her son's privacy in the past. In his article, Morgan wrote, quote, "Sorry Adele, you're a great singer, but sharing your young son's heartache and pain with the entire world to flog your album is shameful and the rankest hypocrisy." Morgan claimed that Adele asked for privacy when it comes to her separation and other personal matters, but then she turns around and exposes those intimate details when it serves her to promote and sell albums. In his article, Morgan wrote, quote, "All this hypocrisy is par for the course with today's oversharing celebrities who love to reveal every prudent detail of their lives for commercial gain while simultaneously demanding privacy," adding, quote, "This is the same Adele who went to court to protect her son's privacy when he was just 1, winning him a substantial 5-figure sum in damages over paparazzi photographs." And finally, number 1, Simon Konecki. I'm sure that Adele's ex-husband does not hate her, but I'm sure he's not pleased with some of the things that she shared about their marriage in the press or on her latest album. In September of 2019, Adele filed for divorce from Konecki. When speaking about the marriage, she told Vogue, quote, "I was just going through the motions and I wasn't happy. Neither of us did anything wrong, neither of us hurt each other or anything like that. It was just, I want my son to see me really in love and be loved. It's really important to me." Then when she approached her 30s, she felt she wanted more out of life than what she had at the time. The divorce was hardest for her 9-year-old son, Angelo. Adele added, quote, "He had so many simple questions for me that I can't answer because I don't know the answer." Adele also shared that she thinks her son might hate her for her decision later in life.
At number 10, Keke Palmer. So many people have opinions on the Kardashians. The way they look, the way they act, their business, everything. A lot of people don't like them for a number of reasons, but actress Keke Palmer has blatantly come out and talked about why she dislikes the Kardashians, specifically Kylie. Keke has shown sympathy in the past for Kylie because of the insecurities that Kylie has professed, but Keke isn't too fond of how Kylie went about dealing with those insecurities. A lot of the Kardashians show off their appearances all the time, and many of them have had plastic surgery, but Keke doesn't seem to like that Kylie flaunted how she changed her appearance like her sisters. The actress believes that Kylie went about dealing with her insecurities in the wrong way, and she hates the fact that she's been praised for this paid glow-up. In an interview, Keke spoke out about all of this where she said, quote, "In the sense of the Kardashians, it's like, I'm going to show you so much perfect and be everything a woman should be or everything a man would like or love. Specifically in the situation of Kylie, where you've had a young girl people have seen on television since she was a kid and they literally told her she was so ugly, the ugly person in the family. She went and did apparently everything the world deemed as beautiful. The even crazier part is that everybody loves her for it." End quote. Keke has deemed Kylie inauthentic, and that's why she dislikes her so much.
And at number 9, Kylie Minogue. Before there was Kylie Jenner, Kylie Minogue was the most famous Kylie. But in 2015, Jenner tried to trademark the name Kylie and Minogue fought back. The Australian pop star shaded Jenner when she tried to trademark their first name. According to the US Patent and Trademark Office, in 2015 Jenner tried to register Kylie in the US for advertising services and endorsement services, but Kylie Minogue's team filed their own charges to ensure the trademark did not go through. Minogue claimed it would, quote, damage her own reputation. In the legal documents, Minogue's team classified Jenner as a, quote, secondary reality television personality known for her, quote, photographic exhibitionism and controversial posts on social media. Very savage. Then Minogue tweeted, quote, hello, my name is Kylie, hashtag Lightyears, insinuating that she was here way before Jenner. After this whole debacle, it's clear the two do not like each other.
At number 8, Madison Beer. There are a handful of people in Hollywood who have their grievances with Kylie's beauty brand. In the past, she's been accused of copying the same packaging as Jeffree Star's makeup brand, but she's also had some beef with Madison Beer because the singer accused Kylie of stealing Madison's purple palette idea from back in 2017. In October of 2017, Kylie released her purple palette from her Kylie Cosmetics brand, and soon after the collection was made public, Madison shaded Kylie on Instagram, alleging that Kylie betrayed her. Madison posted on Instagram saying, quote, when people fully steal your idea and they come out with what was supposed to be a collab, whack, end quote. Though the collab between Madison and Kylie was never confirmed, Madison appeared to have hinted at it back in March of 2017 when talking to paparazzi. I could imagine how hurt you would feel if you worked on something just for it all to fall through with you but still be sold. That would be a serious punch to the gut. When a follower called Madison out on being salty about the whole ordeal and that she didn't invent purple eyeshadow, the singer clapped back saying, quote, you sound very unintelligent. Who in their right mind would think they invented an eyeshadow color or shade? That is not at all in any way what I said or even slightly implied, end quote. Apparently Kylie and Madison were friends before all of this happened, so I wonder if they're over it now or if that ruined their friendship.
And at number 7, Taylor Swift. This is another feud that we're not sure is real or not, but it seems there's been some shade thrown between these two singers for years. After Adele beat out Taylor for a Golden Globe in 2013, Adele made a bit of a shady dig when Adele jokingly said that she has a squad, but they aren't models, clearly taking a dig at Taylor's model squad. Then this year it was reported that Taylor Swift was furious that Adele might be stepping into pop music with her new album. A source said, quote, Taylor Swift is not happy that Adele is apparently taking a new direction for her next album, because it means that she could be stealing her pop princess crown. Apparently Swift is giving no help to Adele with this potential crossover either. The source added, quote, should this rivalry go public, it's going to get messy. It's probably best for Taylor to keep her copycat concerns to herself.
At number 6, Selena Gomez. Another celebrity who seems to have had beef with Kylie is former Disney star Selena Gomez. Turns out that Selena had an on and off again friendship with the Jenner sisters, and it all stemmed from Justin Bieber. During the time that Selena and Justin were a thing, Selena started feeling a little iffy about Kylie specifically because she thought that Kylie was flirting with Justin. Selena and Kylie apparently got into a confrontation in 2014 because of it, and it all went down at Justin's house. According to sources, what happened that evening was that Kylie allegedly, quote, sent sexy pics of herself to Justin, and that's what started the fight. Selena saw the pictures on Justin's phone and she freaked out and immediately left, end quote. The source also commented on the Jenner sisters saying, quote, Kylie and Kendall live in such a fantasy world with what the show has turned their family into. At the end of the day, Selena was just there to be a part of the show and enhance their brand rather than being legit friends. Thankfully, Selena realized that she was being used and got out, end quote. Some sources also claim that Selena stopped being friends with the Jenners because of their use of substances, drinking, and partying, but the Jenners have denied those claims.
Halfway number 5, Lourdes Leon. Lourdes Leon, daughter of Madonna, dissed Kylie after Lourdes was invited to Kylie's birthday party in 2015. Apparently she finds the Kardashian family vile and was horrified about the invite. A source revealed that Lourdes shaded Kylie over her social media activity and selfie taking. After she received the invite, a source exposed, quote, she couldn't believe Kylie thought that she'd be receptive to a party invite and has completely ignored her. As far as Lourdes is concerned, she's not going to lower herself to even responding. Adding that Lourdes is very picky about who she spends her time with, and Kylie doesn't make the cut. The source added that Lourdes' friends are, quote, much more interested in changing the world than in taking selfies. And in my opinion, you must really hate someone if the thought of them inviting you to their birthday leaves you horrified.
At number 4, Amber Rose. The Kardashians have caused a lot of tension in the past in case of their relationships. There's been so much drama with cheating, rumors, babies, and so much more, so it's not surprising to know that Kylie is hated because of relationship quarrels. Amber Rose has had some harsh things to say about Kylie in the past, especially when it came to her relationship with rapper Tyga. Tyga had left Blac Chyna, the mother of his son, for Kylie, and Amber did not approve of that at all. During a radio interview, Amber spoke out about that drama when she said, quote, "She's a baby, she needs to go to bed at 7 o'clock and relax. That's ridiculous. Tyga should be ashamed of himself. That's how I feel, for sure. He has a beautiful woman and a baby and left that all for a 16-year-old who just turned 17. End quote. Amber wasn't the only one to comment on Kylie and Tyga's relationship, but her commentary definitely had some heat. At number 3, Robert Downey Jr. Did you know that back in the 80s, Sarah Jessica Parker and Robert Downey Jr. used to date? Because for a long time, I had no idea. But yeah, they were in a long-term relationship until everything came crashing down. On the surface, it looked like they were madly in love, which in a way they were, and in one interview from back in the day, RDJ even said that he hoped to marry Sarah in the near future, but clearly that never happened. Now you might be wondering, if he wanted to marry her, then why did they end up breaking up? And does Robert really hate Sarah? Well, the reason for their breakup was Robert's substance abuse. It destroyed their relationship, and after a long time of watching Robert go through this hard time, she finally plucked up the courage to leave him. Looking back on it, Robert has said that he doesn't blame her for leaving because he treated her so badly back then. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say that Robert actually hated Sarah, because he did have a lot of love for her when they were together, but he was the reason for the toxicity in their relationship, which certainly didn't make things very nice. Robert's father credits Sarah Jessica Parker for saving his son's life, because he said that without her, RDJ would have probably died. Their relationship was quite tumultuous to say the least, but in the years since, they've been able to reconcile, and they're now good friends who've each moved on. At number 2, Amanda Stenberg. The most common scandal that the Kardashians seem to get involved in is something involving cultural appropriation. Many of the Kardashians have been accused of appropriating black culture and blackfishing, and Kylie seems to be one of the worst offenders when it comes to these things. The internet has got really fired up when Kylie was seen wearing cornrows, and actress Amanda Stenberg went off on Kylie for it. The Hunger Games actress tweeted saying, quote, "When you appropriate black features and culture but fail to use your position of power to help black Americans by directing attention towards your wigs instead of police brutality or racism, hashtag white girls do it better." End quote. On top of that, Amanda also posted a video titled "Don't Cash Crop on My Cornrow," explaining that, quote, "The line between cultural appropriation and cultural exchange is always going to be blurred, but here's the thing. Appropriation occurs when a style leads to racist generalizations or stereotypes where it originated but deemed high fashion, cool, or funny when the privileged take it for themselves." End quote. Amanda already took a disliking towards Kylie after that, but that didn't seem to do much because she kept posting in cornrows after that.
And finally at number 1, Blac Chyna. There is absolutely no doubt in anyone's mind that Blac Chyna hates Kylie Jenner. I think pretty much anyone would hate the woman that your boyfriend left you for. Back in 2014, Blac Chyna was in a long-term relationship with Tyga. The pair even had a son together. But that all changed when Kylie came into the picture, and Tyga left Chyna for a 16-year-old Kylie. Kylie and Tyga dated for 2 years before splitting. At this time, tons of Chyna's friends and family were shading Kylie for breaking up a family, including Amber Rose. Apparently, Kim Kardashian was even friends with Chyna while she was with Tyga, and Kim said that Chyna was devastated when she found out that Tyga was leaving her and their 3-year-old son King Cairo for Kylie. Years later, Chyna would get in a long-term relationship with Rob Kardashian, Kylie's half-brother, and have a child with him. Some even speculate that Blac Chyna got with Rob purely out of spite so she could make Kylie's life hell.
They were famous. At first, Dua used to look up to Rita, but then she got tired of being compared to her. Their feud was made clear at the 2019 Met Gala, where both Dua and Rita were in attendance. A source close to Rita told The Sun that the women had to avoid each other, saying, quote, "Rita is desperate to avoid confrontation and went out of her way to make sure they didn't come face to face." The feud between them started way before Dua Lipa was famous. Since they grew up knowing each other, Dua reached out to Rita's sister, Alina Ora, for help with her career when she was just starting out. Apparently, Alina refused to help, and Dua felt it was because she did not want Dua to become a bigger star than her sister Rita, which definitely did end up happening. The feud continued when Rita Ora was replaced by Dua Lipa in an Adidas campaign. Rita tried to mend things when she tagged Dua in a post she made about putting Kosovo on the map. Rita tagged many famous celebrities who were from Kosovo for support. Every other celebrity tagged, commented, and shared this post, other than Dua.
Kris Jenner. Believe it or not, the Kardashian clan used to be super close to the Smith family, particularly because Kris's kids got along super well with Jada and Will's kids. In fact, Kendall and Jaden are still super close, but we never see the adults hanging out anymore. It's very likely that their friendship didn't survive the whole famous Khloe Kardashian, Tristan Thompson, Jordyn Woods love triangle in 2019. After Jordyn was exposed for making out with Khloe's ex Tristan, Jada decided to have Jordyn on her talk show, Red Table Talk, to reveal her side of the story. The interview featured a ton of sympathy for Jordyn as she said her piece about what went down. Jada and Will have known Jordyn since she was born because her father worked on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Apparently, after the allegations came to light, Jordyn came to Jada asking for help. Quote, "I just wanted her to have a platform to tell her story. That's it. She's a young, beautiful woman inside and out, and me having been a young girl, we sometimes get into situations that we don't necessarily know how to handle." It's likely that all this sympathy towards Jordyn led the Kardashian matriarch to cut ties with Jada, as they were never seen getting close after the incident. Promptly after the interview, the Jenners and the Kardashians all unfollowed Jada and Will on Instagram and vice versa. That being said, they still let their kids hang out, as Jaden was spotted at Kendall's infamous controversial 2020 birthday bash.
And at number 7, Taylor Swift. So we've talked a lot about the feud between Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively that started on the set of A Simple Favor. Little known fact is that this alleged feud started because of Taylor Swift. Taylor and Blake are good friends. Taylor even used Blake's children's names in a few of her songs. So Blake didn't like it when Anna would trash Taylor on set. On September 1st of 2017, The Star published an article claiming that Kendrick was, quote, always ribbing Lively for being a part of Swift's Girl Squad. This anonymous source maintained that, quote, Blake didn't appreciate the constant questions or Anna's tone about the whole thing. Lively brought up how much she hated the comments, but Kendrick refused to stop for some reason. The insider claimed there was little hope the tension would be resolved, adding, quote, it's going to be a long shot if Anna doesn't tone down the Taylor talk. And at number 6, McAfee. This is definitely a strange one, but Anna Kendrick was rated the #1 most dangerous person to search for online in 2020 by security company McAfee. This study is done every year to let customers know the best way they can protect their data online. They researched which famous names generate the riskiest search results that could potentially trigger consumers to unknowingly install malware on their devices. She was number 4 in 2019, but was bumped up to number 1 in 2020. The study assumed it was because of her role in Trolls World Tour. Even though her roles are pretty tame, the security agency concluded that searching for her name generated the most harmful links. Following Kendrick, the next most dangerous names are Sean Combs or P. Diddy, Blake Lively, and Mariah Carey. And at number 7, Calvin Harris. Calvin Harris may have exposed what a diva that Dua Lipa really is. At the time of the 2019 Brit Awards, Dua was in her prime and got tons of nominations for the show. But after the show, the Daily Mail reported that insiders claimed that she was a total diva at the award show. The Sun reported that Lipa was reportedly, quote, furious after being given a dressing room close to the other guests who were eager to talk to her. Apparently her dressing room was right beside the beauty spa, so tons of people were around this area before the show. However, the singer made it clear that she didn't want to be there after other guests kept coming in to say hi and wish her good luck. Because everyone kept coming to talk to her, she reportedly slammed her door shut and took her name tag off her door so people would stop bothering her. What made things even worse was that Calvin Harris was situated pretty close to her, and his dressing room was somewhat of a party. He let people in and was welcome to anyone who wanted to celebrate, making her look even worse. Halfway, number 5, Barack Obama. Anna Kendrick found herself in a very strange situation when she ended up insulting the president and even called him an a-hole right to his face. Let me explain. Anna was on Stephen Colbert and explained the story behind how she met Barack Obama and made him double over with laughter during their meeting. During the conversation, Anna says that she was invited to a presidential event and showed up very early. Then during Obama's speech, he pointed her out and praised her for the movie Up in the Air. Afterward, when the two had a minute to chat, the president said he hoped that she hadn't felt singled out by him mentioning her movie, saying, quote, I hope I didn't embarrass you earlier. Kendrick then responded, quote, yeah, you're such an a-hole. Then she mentioned how she was the first to arrive and that she was very punctual being from Maine. When Obama asked her if this was a thing, she replied, quote, you didn't know that? You're the president. That entire interaction made the president double over with laughter, but it might have just been awkwardness.
Next up is Olivia Jade. While there's no overt animosity between Jada and Olivia Jade, there was definitely some very public discussion of having her on the Red Table Talk show. After the college admissions scandal that put Olivia Jade's mother, Lori Loughlin, in jail for attempting to cheat her daughter's way into college, Olivia Jade attempted to go onto Red Table Talk to set records straight. She went onto the talk show in 2020, and Jada's co-host, her own mother, was extremely public about her distaste for Olivia's appearance. Jada's mom stated, quote, "I fought it tooth and nail. I just found it really ironic that she chose 3 black women to reach out to for her redemption story. I feel like here we are, a white woman coming to a black woman for support when we don't get the same from them. It's bothersome to me on so many levels. Her being here is the epitome of white privilege to me." And honestly, it's hard not to see her point. The whole time Olivia Jade was on the show, she just kept talking about, "Oh, poor me. I didn't realize how privileged I am, blah blah blah." And Jada's mom let her have it. She told Olivia straight to her face, quote, "There is so much violent dehumanization that the black community has to go through on a daily basis, right? There's so much devastation, particularly this year, 2020, and everything being brought to the table. There is so much inequality and inequity that when you come to the table with something like this, it's like, child, please. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with everything we have to deal with as a community, and I just don't have the energy to put into the fact that you lost your endorsements and you're not in school right now." Whoa, I can't even imagine that going over super well on the friendship mark, especially considering this public blasting was broadcasted all over.
And at number 3, Twilight execs. One of Anna Kendrick's breakout roles was the side character in the movie Twilight, and a very shady incident happened that the rumor mill has blamed on Kendrick. Before the second Twilight movie came out, called New Moon, a salon owner found a script to the upcoming movie in the trash outside her salon. The first question that was asked was, who would have thrown out a script as precious and top secret as this? And does this mean they didn't like the movie? It was exposed that the script was found outside of a hotel near St. Louis, where George Clooney and a bunch of other actors filming the movie Up in the Air were staying. Guess who was also filming that movie and also filmed Twilight? None other than Anna Kendrick. Nobody is sure why she did it, but everyone can agree it was not a good look. She's also trashed the movie during interviews, saying that filming the movie was like going through a trauma event. I'm sure her bosses didn't like her speaking of their movie that way. And at number 2, Rebel Wilson. Another massive franchise Kendrick was a part of was the Pitch Perfect series, but apparently a feud put a halt on the 3rd movie. A clash between Anna Kendrick, Rebel Wilson, and Elizabeth Banks reportedly is the reason the movie was pushed back. Then Banks decided to end her role as director. According to insiders, Anna and Rebel have been at the center of drama. Apparently Rebel was really mean to Kendrick during filming, and it made production very difficult. The source added, quote, "Rebel pretends to be this really laid-back funny girl, but in real life she's not like that at all. She can be really mean. And she was mean to Anna too. Rebel just couldn't hide her feelings, and she was nasty to Anna. Everyone knows about it, but no one does anything." Another source said that Kendrick was the reason that Banks quit her job directing. Apparently Kendrick wanted Banks out, and she got her way in the end. The source said, quote, "Anna hates Elizabeth. That's why she left Pitch Perfect 3. The tension between them has been growing, and it just reached a point where they couldn't deal with it anymore." And finally, number 1, Ben Richardson. Kendrick recently announced that she had been dating fellow A-lister and comedian Bill Hader for the last year. But before him, she dated musician Ben Richardson for 6 years. However, most people don't know this because she kept their relationship so secret. It was to a point where we think Richardson could have been resentful of their private relationship. Since Kendrick has starred alongside huge A-listers like Ryan Reynolds and Justin Timberlake, it's often rumored that her and these co-stars are more than friends, although she's never been officially accused of cheating. But often when speaking about cheating, the focus is on the relationships of the men that have wives, not the fact that Kendrick is unlikely to cheat because she's in her own relationship. We assume that's the case because nobody knows about her relationship. I'm sure that Richardson was sick of seeing the tabloids talk about Kendrick and never mentioned that she was taken. In at number 6, James Charles. Dua Lipa and James Charles have a long history of feuding, with multiple shady tweets back and forth between the celebrities. It all started in 2019 when Dua attended the American Music Awards. Pictures of Dua at the event were then posted to Twitter, which is completely normal. But things got shady when James chimed in and replied to the photo saying, quote, "I thought this was me." Even though this wasn't the first time the pair had been compared in the past, fans immediately went on the attack. Some replies read, quote, "The audacity," with another adding, "Delete this tweet immediately." Even though Dua herself did not do anything, we can assume James was not happy with that whole situation and blames Dua's fans for this response. Halfway number 5, Article Sound System. One of Lipa's biggest hits is her song Levitating off her Future Nostalgia album. But just weeks ago, a small indie band called Article Sound System sued Lipa, stating that she stole their song to make Levitating. The song they believe she ripped off is their 2017 track, Live Your Life. The band claims that they have been touring since 2010, with that song being a staple in their onstage performance since 2017. In the suit, the band claims that Dua and her collaborators, quote, listened to and copied Live Your Life before and during the time when they were writing Levitating. The band did not give any specific proof that they heard the song before making Levitating, but they believe the songs are way too similar for it to just be a coincidence. At first, everyone thought that this was just a simple money grab and the band was doing this to become more relevant. But after the songs were compared side by side, it's hard to ignore the glaring similarities. As of now, Dua nor her legal team has made any statements on this matter, but it seems they will be leaving their comments for court. Halfway number 5, Beyonce. Since Adele took home Album of the Year at the 2017 Grammys, fans are convinced that Beyonce and Adele do not like each other, mainly because they are very competitive. After Adele won in 2017 instead of Beyonce, fans were really fed up and claimed that Adele was somewhat patronizing in her acceptance speech. On that night, Adele won all 5 of the awards she was nominated for, while Beyonce only won 2 of 9 of her nominations. During her speech, Adele made sure to shout out Beyonce and say that she believed Beyonce deserved the award more. Although some fans found the moment completely genuine and heartfelt, many did not. Some fans claim that if Adele really felt that way, she should have invited Beyonce on stage to say her acceptance speech with her. Some Beyonce fans even claim that Adele could have just denied the award and forced the Grammys to give it to Beyonce. One fan tweeted after the show, quote, even Adele admitted that Beyonce should have won Album of the Year. Many Beyonce fans think that she did not appreciate being put on blast, and the whole thing made Adele look like a white woman's savior.
At number 4, Michelle Collins. Now this next one is kind of similar to why Oprah doesn't like Sarah Jessica Parker. As I mentioned before, Sarah has a team of people around to help her with her everyday activities. While this is very common amongst celebrities and other rich people, what may surprise people is how strict Sarah Jessica is with her own staff. Other celebrities have been exposed for this kind of thing in the past, like Mariah Carey being ultra mean to her staff, but this isn't something that someone would have expected from Sarah Jessica Parker, since she gives off such a kind demeanor. Turns out that she's a lot more strict than you might think, and comedian Michelle Collins exposed the actress for it. As part of her comedy skit, Michelle read some of Sarah Jessica's emails to her staff aloud, and it made people really think twice about the kind of person she really is. A lot of her demands were incredibly specific, like for example, Sarah requesting that a quote, tiny 1.75 ounce container of Vaseline with a small spoon or knife had to be made available for her children's use, and that this container couldn't be too big as to not clutter up the space. On top of that, she also requested that a quote, bottle of face wash and Neutrogena body wash be continuously replenished for her son James in his shower. Collins even read out the instructions for Sarah's kids' eye drops and how hard the kids should blink. Michelle exposed Sarah for being a behind-the-scenes diva, so maybe this had malicious intent behind it because the demands were just so ridiculous. Before we carry on talking about people who haven't been too fond of Sarah Jessica Parker, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one.
And at number 3, Bruno Mars. Singer and producer Bruno Mars had some eyebrow-raising things to say about Adele after they collaborated on her song All I Ask. He of course sang her praises for her amazing talent, but he also made sure to include that she can be a bit of a diva. He said in the interview, quote, she's a superstar. She walks into the studio, she's got all this attitude, she's a diva, and she's like, I don't want to do this, I don't like that. Then as soon as we hit a couple chords that she liked, we started rolling, and that's where we got that song from. But of course he praised how talented that she is, saying that there is a moment that she was in the booth singing when the water started to vibrate. And of course he would love to work with her again. He said he's just waiting for her to call on him again. It's unclear if he meant that she was a diva in an endearing way or if he meant to throw some shade her way.
At number 2, fans. Now although they aren't exactly celebrities, there is still a lot of negativity and hate amongst Sarah Jessica Parker's fans, as well as fans of Sex and the City. Many people have a number of reasons as to why they dislike the actress so much, and a lot of it stems from the character that she's known for. Carrie Bradshaw is a character that people either love or hate. Many fans say that they just can't stand her because of how unrelatable she is. They didn't like the way that the character carried herself, making everything a bigger deal than it needed to be, always being involved in some kind of petty drama, and not being very humble about her lavish life. As a result of the negative aspects of Carrie's character, some fans have linked that to Sarah Jessica Parker, and this has created a lot of hate for the actress. The other thing that people use against Sarah Jessica is her appearance. Many people online have said that they hate the actress because of the way that she looks, which really shouldn't be a factor of whether or not you like someone. I think this could be a real case of fans forgetting that the actor and the character are two different people. While yes, sometimes an actor can pick up traits from the character they play, especially if they've been playing that character for a long time, but again, that can't be a reason to hate someone. And finally at number 1, Kim Cattrall. When Sex and the City was at its peak, everyone just pretty much assumed that the leading ladies were all best friends because they looked like such close friends on TV, but years after the show and movies ended, we found out that this definitely was not the case. After the third movie was taken off the table because of Kim Cattrall's refusal to do the film, this is when the truth of the matter started to show and people found out about the huge feud between Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker. The feud really came to a head after Cattrall's brother passed away, and Sarah Jessica Parker wrote a message of condolence to her former colleague on social media. Cattrall was not having it and didn't want any kind of sympathy from her archenemy, and clapped back to Sarah's message by writing, quote, "Your continuous reaching out is a painful reminder of just how cruel you really were then and now. Let me make this very clear. You are not my friend. I'm writing to tell you one last time to stop exploiting our tragedy in order to restore your nice girl persona." This made it abundantly clear that there was a lot of built-up tension between the two actresses. Cattrall has addressed the fight numerous times, saying that the mean girl culture of the show is really what destroyed it and doesn't look to be close to putting this drama behind them anytime soon.
And at number 10, Damon Albarn. Musician Damon Albarn got together to collaborate on some tracks on Adele's 2015 album 25, but unfortunately did not go as planned, and the pair ended on pretty bad terms. He even said in the interview that he will never collaborate with Adele again. In an interview with The Sun at that time, Albarn said, quote, "Adele asked me to work with her and I took the time out for her. And I'm not a producer, so I don't know what is happening really. Will she use any of this stuff? I don't think so. Let's wait and see. The thing is, she's very insecure and she doesn't need to be. She's still so young." Albarn also described her new music as middle of the road. Following his interview, Adele clapped back, saying, quote, "It ended up being one of those don't meet your idol moments. The saddest thing was that I was such a big Blur fan growing up, but it was sad and I regret hanging out with him." Albarn later clarified in a different interview that his words were taken out of context and they were misinterpreted to sound mean. But that kind of seems like BS to me, and it's clear the pair did not like each other. And at number 9, Jamie Oliver. Celebrity chef Jamie Oliver got in a strange feud with Adele after he made some comments about breastfeeding. Oliver spoke about the topic during a radio interview where he said, quote, "The UK has the worst breastfeeding in the world," and saying, quote, "It's easy, it's more convenient, it's more nutritious, it's better, it's free." But this did not sit well with Adele, and during a concert Adele responded saying, quote, "The pressure on us is effing ridiculous, and all those people who put pressure on us can go F yourselves, right? Because it's hard. Some of us can't do it." Following the comments, fans put 2 and 2 together, and Oliver got backlash for mansplaining a woman's issue. And at number 8, Matt Doran. Adele got into a feud with reporter Matt Doran after it was reported that she stormed out of their press interview for her new album once he admitted that he didn't listen to the album in full. Australia's Daily Telegraph revealed that Channel 7's Matt Doran came to London specifically for this 20 to 30 minute interview in an over $600,000 deal. Reportedly halfway through the interview, Adele noticed that he was struggling to express an opinion of his own, then she flat out asked if he had listened to the album. And when he said no, she walked off and ended the interview early. Sony later refused to allow footage of the interview to be used, and Doran was suspended for 2 weeks. This embarrassing blunder then went viral, with Adele fans roasting Doran online for days. However, Doran later exposed that the whole story was a lie and he was never kicked out of the interview. Rather, the conversation actually went overtime. Doran also stood by the contents of the interview and said he is, quote, "devastated that her fans are being denied this interview."
And at number 7, Paris Jackson. Kendall and Kylie got tons of backlash when they released a series of vintage t-shirts for their clothing line, and photos of legends like Notorious B.I.G., Tupac Shakur, and the Doors and Ozzy Osbourne were beside their own on the shirts. Tons of celebrities called out the sisters for their tone-deaf decision, including Paris Jackson, the daughter of the late Michael Jackson. Paris took to Twitter and wrote, quote, "As a huge fan of Zeppelin, The Doors, Floyd, I mean these bands literally helped shape who I am today. I can't condone this fashion. Legends like these who completely changed our world today, not just the music world, should be respected and honored, not turned into this. Pink Floyd is not Chanel, Led Zeppelin is not Michael Kors, Metallica is not Givenchy, don't get it twisted. Hashtag bands not brands, and hashtag respect music." Along with getting tons of heat, the sisters were also slapped with multiple lawsuits, so they decided to stop selling the shirts shortly after their release.
And at number 6, Ernest Owens. Adele got major backlash after she posted a photo in Bantu knots to celebrate the UK's Notting Hill Carnival, and journalist Ernest Owens was one of the people who did not approve. In the UK, they celebrate something called the Notting Hill Carnival, where people will share their pride about being a British person with Caribbean descent. Adele shocked the world when she showed up wearing a Jamaican flag, print bikini, and Bantu knots in her hair, a style worn traditionally by black women in the region. Her shocking 100-pound weight loss was easily overshadowed by the backlash that she received, with people calling the move cultural appropriation. After waves of backlash, she told British Vogue, quote, "I didn't read the effing room." And in hindsight, she completely understands why the backlash occurred. Adele also decided to not take down the photo, a move which she says was to let people know she was not trying to brush it under the rug. Owens tweeted at the time, quote, "If 2020 couldn't get any more bizarre, Adele is giving us Bantu knots and cultural appropriation that nobody asked for. This officially marks all of the top white women in pop as problematic. Hate to see it."
At number 5, Oprah. I think out of all the celebrities in Hollywood, it could easily be said that Oprah is one of the nicest. She just gives off such a warm and inviting vibe and seems to get along with so many people that it's hard to imagine Oprah actually disliking someone. But apparently in special cases, she can be a little put off by someone. And one of those people who've rubbed Oprah the wrong way is Sarah Jessica Parker. When you look up people who hate Sarah Jessica, not many people show up, so you really have to go digging. So this little beef is a bit lesser known than others, so I'll tell you about it. Back in the day when Sarah Jessica Parker was on Oprah's show for an interview, Oprah was gushing to the actress about how she's such a hard worker, being able to juggle so much in life like being a working mom. While Sarah gave her honest opinion to Oprah's praise, the talk show host really didn't like what the actress had to say. Replying to Oprah's comment about how impressive Sarah is, the actress said, quote, "I have a lot of help. I mean, I have a lot of people helping me." End quote. While it was the honest truth, because she did have people who worked for her to help her out with her everyday tasks, Oprah really didn't like the actress not being humble. Oprah really didn't like it when rich celebrities brag about the perks of being famous and having a lot of money, and so she tried pressing Sarah Jessica to get her to admit something a little more humble, but it just never really worked. The subtle brags about being able to afford so much help just rubbed Oprah the wrong way, causing her to not like Sarah Jessica Parker too much.
Next up is Tom Segura. While this may be more towards Will Smith, Tom Segura has held absolutely nothing back when torching the Smith family online for the Oscars slap incident. Obviously, a lot of celebrities are ticked off at Will Smith right now, but Tom definitely brought his distaste for Jada into this rant. In a series of tweets, he said, quote, "Let me tell you this, man. The idea that you're entitled thinks because your feelings are hurt, you get to one of the all-time greats because you feel, and then the cowards, the spineless cowards that are in Hollywood and comedy. We have all the lists of the guys. It's insane. It's like a gross exaggeration. You see it all the time. I mean, you see entitlement everywhere, and that was on full display for the world to see. I have zero respect for that, and I feel like more people need to come out and say it. It's unacceptable. Damn. Tom, tell us how you really feel." That being said, it's unclear if the in question is Will or Jada. It could be either or both in this situation. Either way, I doubt Tom will be invited to any Smith family dinners in the near future. Next up is August Alsina. While I think maybe this one is a bit of a stretch because it's hard to hate someone who's actively keeping you relevant, I do think that August Alsina can't be happy with how his name has been dragged through the mud with this weird open marriage thing that he was involved with. He claimed to have dedicated years of his life to Jada after they had initially been introduced when Jaden brought him home as a friend. Although the two had their affair while Jada and Will were separated, it didn't stop the actor from writing an entire album called Entanglements about her. It has also just been announced that he's going to write a memoir about his time with Jada, which I am like 99% sure is to A, keep him relevant, and B, to drag Will and Jada's name through the ringer. Next up is Sheree Zampino. Sheree Zampino is the ex-wife of Will Smith, who he had one son with named Trey. Although this feud is largely over, Jada openly admitted to really disliking her husband's ex-wife, and the feeling was very mutual. When they began their relationship, Jada and Sheree hated each other. They had a lot of issues with their blended family, which basically meant them all co-parenting the kids that they all had with Will. Zampino recalls a moment when she had to speak to Will about their son Trey, but Jada picked up the phone. Quote, "You picked up the phone and I wasn't really respectful. You basically let me know, I don't really appreciate your tone, and I was like, it doesn't matter. And you hung up on me. I called back and I happened to say, bitch, you're living in the house that I picked out." The two then shared a laugh with one another, so I guess this one doesn't really count because they've definitely made amends with one another. Despite having an extremely rocky relationship to begin with, they seem to get over it for the sake of Will Smith and their kids. And at number 4, Jessica Biel. Jessica Biel's husband Justin Timberlake is on thin ice and their relationship is struggling because of constant rumors that he is cheating. Things were at a breaking point in 2019 when he was caught holding hands with Palmer co-star Alicia Wainwright during a night out in New Orleans. Timberlake confirmed he never cheated on his wife but did apologize for the inappropriate move. According to Life and Style, Biel is now keeping her husband, quote, on a very short leash when it comes to how much time he spends with other female co-stars, specifically Anna Kendrick, who was his co-star on his following movie. An alleged insider told the magazine that Biel doesn't want him out late or partying with Kendrick during their promo tour, and she's even given him a curfew. The source continued that if anything were to happen with Kendrick, their marriage would be over for good.
Okay, this next one is just for laughs, but Will Smith. I mean, God, they must have had an extremely hard time within their marriage because Jada, for better or for worse, constantly lays it out on the table. She airs her dirty laundry with Will genuinely constantly, and a lot of fans think that the Men in Black actor is so stricken with Jada that he won't see just how inappropriate her behavior is. For example, always on her talk show, Jada insinuated that Will doesn't know how to please her in bed when she was discussing intimacy with Gwyneth Paltrow. Also openly admitted to cheating on Will, and she had an extremely intimate relationship with Tupac Shakur despite her claiming never to have dated him. I can't imagine all that going over super well, especially when we, as the ever watchful public, know all of these things. I think it would be a much easier pill to swallow if the entire internet weren't calling Will a but here we are. And now that the Oscars slap thing happened because Will was defending Jada's hair loss, it really does feel like a house that's so full of pretension and privilege that I think people have just kind of largely given up on the couple.
And at number 9, Blake Lively. Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick starred in the hit movie A Simple Favor together. So not only did they spend tons of time working together, they also had to be on the press tour with one another. Apparently that was a big issue for the women because they hated each other while filming the movie. And it was so bad that the studio executives had to get involved and mediate the tension between the women. In a TikTok, the page Celebrity Memoir Book Club claimed that when filming Wrapped on the movie, Lively and Kendrick were not speaking, adding, quote, they were basically enemies and their press tours had to be booked separately. The user said they were not sure which actress was the one that started this feud because both women had been a part of feuds with their co-stars. The page even shared a private DM they received showing a studio executive at Lionsgate confirming basically everything the previous post said. This DM read, quote, they hated each other. The studio even had to have a talk with them about making it look like they liked each other on press tours because it was starting to get obvious. And in particular was really competitive with Blake and was constantly asking to make sure she got more promotion than Blake, and even made us Photoshop her cleavage in The Simple Favor to be as big or bigger than Blake's. So from this comment, it seems that Anna Kendrick might be the reason for this feud. To prove their dislike for one another, during a press interview the women were speaking about Instagram and blocking. Anna Kendrick revealed that she once blocked Blake on Instagram. Then later she said she decided to mute her instead once that became an option. That whole interaction seemed a little too real to believe it was all playful banter. In at number 8, Ryan Reynolds. Since Anna is feuding with his wife Blake Lively, it makes sense that Ryan Reynolds would take his wife's side in this beef. Before this feud, Kendrick and Reynolds looked to be pretty friendly, co-starring in the movie The Voices together. Kendrick even brought up the past friendship in one of her digs towards Blake. In one interview, Anna Kendrick mentioned the fact that she worked with Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband, and she says that she once thought that Blake was nice, but doesn't now. It seems like a joke at first, but obviously could hint the tension going on behind the scenes. Blake then jokingly goes to touch her, then Anna sharply responds, "Don't touch me." Very strange behavior for co-stars and even more proof of a feud.
In at number 8, Taylor Swift. We all know that Taylor Swift and Kanye West despise each other and have been in a long and heated feud since Kanye stole the mic from her in 2009. So how is Dua Lipa involved? Fans thought that Dua was a Taylor fan when she was pictured wearing some of Taylor's merch while doing a sound check. Taylor also took this to mean that Dua was a fan and commented on this post, writing, quote, "I'm screeching with joy." However, the love affair did not last long between Dua and Taylor, because Dua later chose Kanye over Taylor when she was playing a game in an interview. The question was simply to choose Taylor or Kanye, and because Dua prefers Kanye's music, she chose him. Instantly, Taylor's fans were up in arms, claiming that Dua took Kanye's side in their beef. Dua cleared it up on an episode of Watch What Happens Live when she said, quote, "I wasn't thinking about their beef, I was thinking about their music, and Taylor is amazing, but I'm such a hip-hop fan that I would probably choose Kanye over anyone." In at number 9, Baby Rexha. Baby Rexha is in the middle of Rita Ora and Dua Lipa's feud, and she thinks the feud will most likely never end. She's always tried to keep the peace between the women, and she's even pushed hard for a collaboration with all of them, but it seems that Dua is standing in the way of this. While speaking to The Sun, she said about their dynamic, quote, "I have really tried. I don't know what's really going on there or what the drama is. I've tried to always be the peacekeeper and bring the girls together." Rexa later walked back her comments and blamed the competitive nature of the music industry on their feud, saying, quote, "It's weird because I know how it is to be a girl and sometimes we can get really competitive. And I'm not even talking about me, Dua, Rita, and Ava, I'm just talking about females in general. What happens is there's not enough women at the table." Rexa added that because she believes the music charts are so male-dominated, it leaves women musicians with an unspoken competitiveness between them. These comments came after the 2019 Met Gala, where it was widely reported that Dua and Rita avoided each other. And at number 4, Elle Russell Brown and Sandy Linzer. After the first lawsuit against Lipa started to gain traction, songwriters Elle Russell Brown and Sandy Linzer filed their own lawsuit, claiming Levitating also stole from their song. They believe the song is a duplicate of the melody to their 1979 song Wiggle and Giggle All Night and their 1980 song Don Diablo. The lawsuit alleged, quote, "Defendants have levitated away plaintiffs' intellectual property. Plaintiffs bring suit so the defendants cannot wiggle out of their willful infringement." Their main argument is that in past interviews, Lipa admitted she deliberately emulated prior eras and took inspiration from historic music from the retro sound of the 2020 album, Future Nostalgia. The suit also claims that their song is featured in the most prominent part of the song that went viral on TikTok and led to the song's global success. Claim that without their influence on that portion of the song, it would not have went viral. Dua has not commented on the claims in this suit. In at number 3, celebrities against traveling. In 2020, the majority of the world was asked to stay inside and not travel. During this time, many celebrities took to social media to share what life was like for them while they were stuck at home. Dua Lipa was one of these celebrities, and when governments asked citizens not to leave, she came online and supported the decision, telling her fans to do the right thing and to not socialize or travel. But shortly after, she was called out for being a hypocrite. During this scary time, Dua was traveling all over the world without a care. She was also with her boyfriend Anwar and a group of her friends. Fans took to the comments to call her out for the hypocrisy, with many saying her words were empty and she clearly did not believe she should stay at home. One fan tweet about the situation said, quote, "Dua Lipa having the audacity to tell us to stay home when she's been in about 4 different continents." Dua did not respond back to the criticism and continued to travel despite it. In at number 2, Anwar Hadid. Dua and Anwar dated for 2 years before calling it quits on December 23rd of 2021, after rumors that their relationship was crumbling. Rumors started when gossip page Dumois posted a screenshot from inside claiming the couple were 100% broken up. Shortly after, The Sun confirmed these rumors. Their source claimed, quote, "Dua and Anwar are currently taking a break from their relationship and are spending time apart. They're figuring things out right now." According to The Sun, Dua and Anwar's relationship hit crisis mode due to their packed work schedules, so they decided to take some time apart. The source added, quote, "Their relationship is going through a crisis and appears to be on the rocks." Then weeks later, the breakup was confirmed by both celebrities. We know confirmation who made the decision to end the relationship, but many Dua fans believe she ended the relationship because of Anwar's overbearing family and strong controversial beliefs. And finally, number 1, Ed Sheeran. Dua Lipa offended some men in her industry when she stated that women are held to a higher standard when it comes to concerts. In an interview with British GQ, Dua Lipa stated that women have to be athletes as much as singers, but men are not held to the same standards of showmanship. "I remember going to a show by a male artist that actually doesn't do anything on stage, and they got this stellar 5-star review. But then you have women who get up on stage and they're practically doing cartwheels, costume changes, it's a spectacle, and then reviewers nitpick every little thing." Continuing that women are forced to do everything on stage to have an entertaining performance, while men only need to get up and sing. Even though Dua did not name any specific artists, many felt this could be a dig at Ed Sheeran, as his concerts get great reviews and he hardly does anything other than sing with his guitar. There's a chance he was offended by her comments.
And at number 10, Tahira. After working as a stylist for Anna Kendrick, Tahira decided to make a TikTok exposing how terribly Kendrick treated her while they were working together. In the video, she rated the celebrities that she had worked with in the past, giving them a 1 to 10 rating. When she came to Kendrick, Tahira gave Anna Kendrick a rating of -100 out of 10 and called her a terrible person. The comments flooded asking her to give more details about the interaction, so she decided to make 2 more videos. In the first video, she said that in 2016, she was working as a stylist and her job was to put together some looks for one of Kendrick's book signings. Saying, quote, "She comes in, I'm walking her through the rack, she won't even speak to me. That's strike 1. I'm asking her, do you want to wear pants or do you want to wear a dress? She won't say anything. In the end, Kendrick just wore her own clothing. Then at the end of the event, it was part of Tahira's job to collect the gifts that Kendrick's fans left for her. After trying to give Kendrick this bag full of items, Kendrick told her to throw it all away, adding that she never even looks at the stuff. She described the whole interaction as a complete nightmare.